Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful. When the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. We got news in like 10 seconds here. Here we go. Jobless claims looking for a reading of 878,000. Or no, sorry, 850K. And we're getting 837K. So slightly less than expected. That's good. I'll buy that. Nope. The 4-week average 867. That's less than expected. Building permits 1.7 versus a previous reading of -3. Price index 1.6 versus a 1.4. Personal income -2.7 versus an estimated -2.4. So that's not particularly good, but might be able to boost treasuries a little bit. Overall, thing is we're already up, so I don't know if that's enough or not. Good morning, Uzi. By the way, Uzi, I still got a package coming for you with the indicators, but I'm waiting for the obfuscation package so that you can't decompile it because I don't trust you. No, just kidding. Hopefully by the end of the day I should have like the final package. So I see I see gold not reacting so well. The dollar coming down a little bit. Treasuries seeing a little bit of pressure continue. There was a good spike there in the equity indexes, but it's not really going.
Block sell.
Yeah, the treasuries are selling that. They're getting thick again, too. I wouldn't do that anyways, but I get it. Yeah. No, it's just a requirement for the whole. We're going to give it to everybody. So yesterday I spent I've been working on a website. Speculatorseth.com. So if you want to get an idea of what we're going to be putting out. And I showed it to my dad because he's done sales for a long time. I'm like, okay, so what do you think of what I got on there? And he was like, well, I don't understand. How do you like? I'm sure that other people that are familiar with this trading software know what to do, but like, how does it work? I have to download NinjaTrader first, and then how do I install it? And I was like, oh my gosh. So I went and I wrote all of these instructions about how to do it. I was like, this is so dumb. Like, everybody knows this, but I'm realizing that they don't. And it was kind of a weird experience. I'm not very good. I think one of my biggest failings is that I'm not good at realizing what information other people don't have. If we trend today, I'm going to get nervous about taking it as she goes, yeah, it is going though, right? Damn treasuries, they want low. I mean, we're low from where we were, right? You know what? We should come and do this. Look at this. Treasuries are low. Equities are on their highs. Despite McConnell throwing cold water on the indexes yesterday, that's basically what happened there. Oil is, I don't know what oil's doing. Gold really wants above 1900 though. So they're pushing there. Copper down overnight though. That's a little concerning. copper being down overnight, a little concerning. But there was all this mess over in Asia. Yeah, can you believe that they just shut down trading in Tokyo because they had an outage? And apparently the outage was a hardware outage. I'm like, what? How does that happen? How does that happen? Crazy. It's going to be interesting to read the post incident report on that one, because you would not think that a entire exchange would be prone to fail off of a hardware failure. He's got some targets down below us, huh? Well, I don't know. Like there is a lot more two-way action in the 10-year today. You see, there's quite a bit buying into 09.5. Yesterday, we didn't really see hardly anything push back against it. So you're probably going to get pretty big orders on both sides. I'm not 100%. Wouldn't be, yesterday we could have been pretty confident selling that, but this one I'm not so sure about. Still nice and thick. Yeah, well, you're getting sixes up there. It's not quite as insane as it was yesterday, but okay. So 7K to push down, and now they're pushing back against it again. Of course, it could be that there's just, oh my gosh, yeah. So they tried to push through it, and do you see on that one when they took 09 and then it came back? All of the market makers that bought it immediately bailed. Moscow Exchange also now started allowing trading USA stocks since late August. I think more people joining this market bubble. They even push Robinhood clone-like apps where you get one free stock. Oh my gosh, like this is good.
Live Action says talk about canceling trading. Just saw Gov Murphy NJ on Bloomberg discussing taxing online trading.
Yeah. Yeah, the politicians are always the last ones to try and get in on the money, right? Just do it. Gosh. That was that delayed reaction was
Uzi Knesset says, oh, it'd be sweet if they pushed exchanges out of blue states, lol.
Hey, why don't you come down here to Utah? They could do it. Listen, we're in the middle of the West.
Uzi Knesset says the heartbeat of the U.S. economy being in a red state. Lol.
We got we got all of the back end stuff is already here. Got all these financial come to Salt Lake.
All tax-free trading states.
Be great. It would be great.
Vlad Stolyarov says new rules.
I don't know. It looks positive. They're certainly heavy though. Like they want to buy it. The E-mini wants to buy, but they don't have enough people not invested.
Vlad
What should I call
says
it? Virgin
TSLA
money.
440 pre-market, it's fine bubble.
There's not enough virgin market making money out there at the moment to really push it. Tesla. They're just gonna rotate around 420 forever. Those jerk offs. It's just ridiculous. It's a big joke. It's just a big joke. Next earnings come along, show a loss, and maybe they finally Bass the music.
Live
I don't
Action
know.
says, didn't the CME threaten to leave the state when protesters outside demanded they pay more?
Oh yeah. Well, they just move over to New York. They just move across the river. It's not even a big deal. It's really quite funny that there you go. It's really quite funny that they
Uzi
moved
Knesset says,
over.
bring the CME closer to me, damn it.
Right.
Haha.
They moved over to New Jersey in the first place because it was a more conducive business environment. They could get away from some of the regulations and problems that they had over in New York. And now New Jersey wants to do the same shit and chase them back across the river. It's so, I don't get how do these politicians just don't pay attention, man. I tell you, I'm still been thinking about the debate, man. There are two things that stand out to me about that debate. You know, a day later. One is that Joe Biden is not paying attention. He does not have a clue what is really going on out there. He has been sequestered in his basement and he is just reading headlines. He's not really digging into the stories. He is not informed. And this is the case with politicians all over the place. I don't think that they really look into these laws. Like when they propose this stuff, I don't think they look into the history of it. I don't think they have a clue. So why? Because if you had a clue, why would you suggest something like that? You know?
Live Action says CME, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, Illinois to Indiana.
There you go. And then the other side of it is that he refuses to answer if they'll nuke this filibuster to pack the Supreme Court. You just lie about it. You would just lie about it. If you were really planning on doing that, you would just lie about it. He can't just lie about it because the left would eviscerate him. That is scary. They want to do it. They're going to push to do it. If you give them a 1-vote majority in the Senate, they're going to try it. And I don't even want to try and think about what happens to the country if they do it. This is scary stuff. So I'm thinking about that today. Because, you know, I felt like it was a pretty missed opportunity for Donald Trump. But when I'm like going around and reading stuff, I'm realizing like Joe Biden made a lot of mistakes and people are actually kind of, it didn't help Joe Biden. I think that the debate overall hurt Joe Biden more than it helped him. It's just that I think that Donald Trump probably needs a little bit of a boost and he didn't get it. Anyways. You think we're going to have another wild ride like we did yesterday? Because I tell you what. So I went at lunchtime to go and get a table. My wife, she is totally into the buying used furniture because there's so much used furniture out there right now.
Uzi Knesset says, damn it, there she goes. I saw 14 flip 2 confused face.
Jeez, they want to sell it. And when I left, you know, it was going up and people were like, we're like at 70. I'm like, nah, I don't think they're to the VIX target yet. And it doesn't look like they're finished. So it looked like they did get like one tick short of 85. Come back. On the way back, I'm reading, McConnell said something and the markets are down. I'm like, what? So come back and I see, come back home and I see it's like, wow, yeah, they got creamed. But then it was going back up. So it went back up for like no reason. I'm like, what? So then I go and watch the baby for like 5 minutes, come back, and it's like down 10 points again. What a roller coaster. Whoa, what a mess.
Live
yesterday.
Action says Biden frustrated Trump by ignoring his questions.
Yeah. Well, but did you see the video where another journalist asked Kamala Harris about it and she just ran out the clock? They are actively avoiding answering that question. They're not going to answer it. That should be scary to every American, guys. Live Action, yes. Yeah, you did see it.
Live
This
action
should
says
be
yes.
alarming. This should be alarming to every American, because if they nuke the filibuster, it's
Live action says very scary.
like honestly, if they nuked the filibuster, I wouldn't be surprised if every Republican senator just refused to show up to the Senate. I'm not even kidding. Like that's where I think it would be going. All the Republicans would leave. I and then there would be this whole thing of like forcing them to come back, and that's when it get violent. This create where people talk about like civil war and crazy. I'm not so sure that there's really going to be that kind of a fight over who won. It's very likely, if Joe Biden wins, that it'll be very convincingly. If Donald Trump wins, it'll probably be close. There might be some court cases, but I think that it will be like he won and he'd be ahead the whole time and this and that. So I don't think that this whole like coup scenario, I don't think that it's nearly as likely as a lot of people are thinking, or like the market is pricing in. But what if Donald Trump gets in, then I think we're fine for another 4 years. But if Joe Biden gets in, I'm just because of what they are saying, what it looks like they're going to do, are things that would tear the fabric of the republic apart. It's very scary. Well, they want to go, but they're just not quite getting it yet. They're just not quite getting it on yet. It's a very choppy market here.
Live action says media not helping.
Yeah, very much so true. Well, Chris, the debate moderator wasn't good. I was reading there, like they wanted to change the rules, and that maybe one of the rules would possibly include being able to shut the candidate's microphone off. I don't. Yeah, how do people not realize how bad of an idea this is? Like, first of all, how are you going to get the campaigns to agree to that? Second of all, you're going to do like, you're going to have another Ronald Reagan moment. Like, that's what they did to Ronald Reagan. They turned his microphone off. Come on. That's a terrible idea. Terrible, terrible idea. Give them more time to answer question. Give them more rebuttals. Make the questions shorter. And don't have suppositions in your questions. Like Chris Wallace was live fact checking Donald Trump during the debate. That was against the rules. Yeah. I don't know though. I didn't really. I saw some stuff on TikTok. I didn't see that much.
Live action says media has huge influence on country direction. Leave it to some idiot journalist.
Before the debate, I was seeing a lot about how many people were going to see the debate, and it was like insane, millions of viewers, sort of a thing. It turns out that the viewership was down significantly from what it was in 2016. Significantly. And a lot of people turned it off early. So it's actually looking to me like, even though Donald Trump didn't really get the boost that he needed, and I gotta stress that, I think that that's important, that it was a missed opportunity. It doesn't look like that many people actually watched it, and that it's really that really care. So just didn't see a lot about it yesterday, like on social media. There wasn't all that much about it on Reddit. Kind of tells you something, right? They don't want people to hear what Joe Biden was saying. Oh, so much politics today. I'm probably getting out of it. So we got to talk, like, I don't know. The thing that we should really be talking about is this stimulus still. But I don't know what can you say about it? We don't really have a clue what's going on. The market is just being insane about it. They obviously want it. Apparently it's going to include direct payments. So we're going to have to turn around and put it all back in the market again? I don't know. A little concerned about a couple of things. Rolls-Royce lays out plans to raise as much as $6.5 billion to boost cash reserves amid a collapse in demand for jet engines. Well, it looks like the Treasury's kind of pausing there. They kind of did that yesterday and went quite a bit lower that time, but I'm thinking they might need to base out a little bit here. Relax for a bit and you know what? I always forget to turn the robots on. Turn all of them on, even though they're all terrible. Oh, market depth pop is still unhappy. Okay. We fix them. Jump to Biden on Antifa. Ideas don't burn down buildings. Ooh. That was one of the things that Joe Biden said that I've been noticing Republicans pick up on the most. They've been trying to claim that Antifa is just an idea. Because I saw a ton of videos of people like, hey, they shut down the Walgreens here and they destroyed this building and here's all this stuff on the street and everything. Yeah, that's not Republicans doing that, guys. That's not, just some idea. Man. But that's where I have to say, like, do you think that Joe Biden believes it? Or do you think that he's just kind of covering? Or do you think that he's just, that's what the Democrats are saying and so he believes it? Or do you think that he's just that clueless, Yeah, they're gonna shake me again. I guess it's only fair because I did get the 16 ticks the other way. Study shows hydrochloroquine did not prevent coronavirus in healthcare workers. Well, there you go. That might be pretty definitive. Let's see. Read that one later. Brannigan Barrett still bearish on gold. He's like, this spike up, you want to sell it. It's curious to me. Because gold has been trying so hard to stay above it. That kind of turned a little too quickly into technical trading. Well, we might have to just wait for the market to open because we're up here so high. Unless we get a really good drop, we could try taking a long again. Barclays, he's set up for a defensive, more favorable As 35% underperformance mimics prior budget downturns in 2008, stocks trading at 35 to 40% discount to market, no meaningful upside until companies and consensus. Oh, yes. Trump signed an executive order declaring a national emergency in the mining industry, a move aimed at expanding domestic production of rare earth minerals. Think that we'll see those rare earth mineral stocks up today? And no, we've known that the bill's been coming for a while and they haven't really reacted. So I don't know if they actually will.
Live action says long overdue.
Long overdue. Yeah, I won't open up Fidelity at the moment. Well, actually, no. Let's do open it up while we're not doing anything because it covers up the screen. Oh yeah, Tesla's. I just don't get how can they be? How can Tesla continue to make like 5-10% moves every day? This is ridiculous. Now they're actually doing okay yesterday. Well, it looks like I want to have snow up here, not Costco. Costco went well in the end. Ah, snow not so bad. They recovered, so the IBO was around 270. Huh. So snow is recovering quite well. Maybe there's something wrong with. Maybe there's just something about sumo logic that's not positive. I don't know. Been watching those IPOs kind of to try and get, because I feel like that on a risk sentiment front that they're going to be like the cutting edge, and I was concerned that they weren't following. But Snow doing well yesterday is it's favorable. Although they opened up really big and then kind of just skidded down the whole day, so I'm not quite sure what is with that. Man, my eye is twitching really bad today. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe I need to have somebody look at it. So it does seem like it was a little. I didn't eat very well yesterday, and it made me kind of sick. Got kind of nauseous in the car, so I feel like I was a little more stressed yesterday, and maybe that's why I was twitching more. But like, I had an okay night's rest. Mm. Flight attendant went viral on TikTok with her. I kept trying to tell Melissa's like, you gotta You can be famous on TikTok for being oh, and she's from Salt Lake City? No. I wonder if it's somebody, well, who was she? I think my wife might know her. Oh, she's a clean freak, is what she is. Oh, well, do you think this whole thing is going to come out, or do you think that they can bounce? I see 33.72 is a good spot. You know what else? I want my green. I want my green thing back. I want my green Vista chart back, even though it's like ugly as heck. Think we can get that back? Let's try. Um, I called it night vision. Yeah. Cool. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Where was it?
Live Action says continuous jobless claims dropped approximately 1,000. Wouldn't it hold to reason we beat the 900s on non-farm payrolls tomorrow?
Not necessarily. There is a lot of things that factor in to that number. So you got to remember, man. I've been writing about this for our manual. I have been writing it. I haven't gotten very far because I've been focusing on the indicators, but I have been writing about it. You got to remember that report really has two things in it, right? Because there is the report that comes in from like all of the payrolls around the country, and then there's the report that comes from the household survey that they use to determine the unemployment rate and stuff like that, right? So that's the first thing, is that there's a lot of things about the how many people are unemployed and stuff, and like people that have come off of the payrolls and stuff like that, that you really can't see from the jobless claims. That you're basically you're looking at like a completely different source for the information. So even though they're correlated, it's really hard to look at that stuff and really know what the number is going to be. The other thing is the ADP is really important. Is one that can be. So let's see here. What did the ADP yesterday? Was it? I don't recall. ADP was better than expected, 749 versus previous 650. Well, given how things have been going overall, and some of the comments from central bankers and the overall market, I'm think that it would probably make more sense to guess that it will be higher. What are the estimates? So the estimates, they're looking for average hourly earnings to increase about 5%, non-farm employment change to be 900,000, and the unemployment rate to be 8.2. See, that all sounds pretty in line. Hmm. Anyways, back to this. Ouch. What was that? EU official on Brexit says there's no sign of landing zone on fisheries. So that was Brexit news. House
Live
Democrats
Action
hold off
says
on
what
stimulus vote to allow more time for bipartisan negotiation. That's an old headline, but that's just coming out on CNN Politics. I was about Brexit. It hasn't hit Twitter yet, and I don't want to read something to you that's wrong. Okay. EU official, there is no sign of landing zone on fisheries, the level playing field and trade talks with the UK. That I believe is what caused the move. Yeah, actually, strangely enough, that from a technical perspective, that could wash out enough people that we could go long again. I don't know if I want to touch this market as shit like that's happening, man. Holy crap.
Ace Trades says assholes. I was short.
Oh. So did you get out?
Vlad Stolyarov says thinking of not placing any big trades this week. I tried to go long yesterday before 3 p.m. It was scary. Took small profits. Live Action says ouch.
That was pretty
Ace Trades
wild.
says yes, got a topped. Joe Horton says that got me out of a really shitly offside long.
Okay. Let's try that.
Vlad Stolyarov says 3420s. If they pass stimulus, I would look to reverse maybe if gets up there this week.
See, I'm not. I'm really unsure about what the deal is with the stimulus because that was just a really wild ride.
Vlad Stolyarov says it's being renegotiated too much.
Maybe.
Block buy.
Okay, so the treasuries came back off of that in a significant way. So Ace is saying that he was short and then he got stopped out, even though he was right because of the volatility. Ugh. See, Donald Trump Jr. is picking up on what I was talking about earlier. Joe Biden refused to answer if he would back the Supreme Court with liberal justices, and the liberal media made sure no one saw it. The media isn't dedicated to telling the American people the truth. They're dedicated to protecting Joe Biden. The backing the Supreme Court should be a bigger issue than it has been in the public discourse.
Uzi Knesset says, remember what I was saying to you yesterday about the break-even levels? That 607 offer in ZB is at the seller's break-even. Winking face.
Yeah. Well, you're on the right side of it. I've found that you have to have all three of them up because one of them will be like the if we were moving up, then it would be
Uzi
like
Knesset says, really cool.
yeah, it would be like the opposite. It would be like the 5-year would be coming back to the buyer's break even, and the 30-year would be coming back to the seller's break even. Or, you know, well, you can see it on my charts, right? 30-year came back 10 and 5, not because that's the way the spread's going. This can be a little bit darker. That's maybe just a tad too much. And this can be darker. $67.96. For what's this one? 43. So let's make this one 40. 50. 60. 70. 70. 75. $85. How about that? That looks a little better. And I want that last one to just be really bright. Oh, you know what else? Didn't need that other column. Well, it's still fairly wild in this area. Price movement is fairly wild, but like the velocity and everything is just like dead.
Sunday Driver says dollar woes.
No, dollar's coming back up. Sterling's getting hammered, I'm sure. I don't have a chart of this sterling up, but based on how the euro is moving and the dollar and everything else, it doesn't look so good. 6J pretty ugly too, by the way. Oil pretty ugly, by the way. Oil and copper both today not looking so hot compared to the equity market, which is concerning. Like, it looks like you could maybe buy it, but this close to the open, it might just be really. Ugh. I tell you what, that was an interestingly extreme move off of Brexit, which up until now hasn't really impacted markets that strongly. I find it curious that it's now because I don't know. I guess that things are getting pretty dire now. They're getting close to where they got to do something, but I don't know, man. It's a change for sure. I think that somebody heard that headline and clicked that puke button. Jennifer Jacobs tweeting a Bloomberg article that people are getting laid off all over the place. Okay. I'm so tempted to click. I want to click it. Who thinks the EU should just walk away from the talks and tell the UK to have a nice day? And Live Monitor responds, who thinks the UK should do the same? Well, can the market continue to rally with Brexit sounding so bad? What do you think? The overnight is still pretty bullish.
Uzi Knesset says people aren't past Brexit yet. It's only been like 5 years lol. Greg
People
Davis
in the
says
UK
possible
ain't.
with all the Fed's free and printed money.
Yeah, well, and if the stimulus bill is coming, I think that they're rallying because of the stimulus bill primarily. It's a difficult situation because the market is giving all sorts of mixed signals, you know? I have to say that the 30-year looking pretty strong here, huh? Think that they'll get back to the open price? My leg is bouncing like mad again. In this mode where it's like I can hear myself breathing. Feel like I'm suffocating in here for whatever reason. I must really want to click something, huh? Okay. Yeah, I don't like that. I wish that I could just say what is the biggest one and always have it scale by that instead of relatively speaking. Morgan Stanley, the decrease in income was largely due to the end of the $600 per week supplemental unemployment insurance benefits, which this report is the first to reflect. Ah. Playboy to go public through latest SPAC deal? Really? So there's a little iceberg down there. 73. Oh, why you gotta be like this? There we go. That makes me a little bit more comfortable with where I got in at. It's bidding into the open there. Here we go. First spike definitely looks long. Ooh, it's a pretty wild trade right there, man. It's a lot of volume. Okay. Looks like my trading robot took a long there just before the open. Honestly, not the best trade, but I think he got lucky a bit. You think? Okay. This looks good. And they beat that the high of that pivot from the Brexit noise. And I want to get above at 85 though. And the 10-year came back down there. Overall, that was a pretty strong opening drive by the Bulls. So yesterday we're talking about 3 to 4,000, and it wasn't like a huge change in cumulative delta. Here we're seeing a change of about 6,000 long. We should note though that we are like out there. So I don't see big orders all the way up until like 89. And those have been there for a while. Those are from before. Those are above the overnight high. Well, so we are going to get some PMI numbers here in 10 minutes. Okay. I'm going to take it off. Since there's a pretty big distribution here and we are... Oof. That's either going to be like an amazing exit or I'm going to feel really stupid. Because like, this is so bullish. I think the chances of it coming down, they're going to have a little bit of a pullback. I think that's pretty high. I've never seen it extend like that before. So I'm a little skeptical about how high
Live
they can
Action
go.
says, speaking of delta, besides helping in a trade and also used as an oscillator, I think the tick can also be used as a delta tool.
You really like that
Vlad
tick.
Stolyarov says, I am not shorting here, let it extend to 3,420.
Sunday Driver says make a wild trade. Yola.
Vlad Stolyarov says 3,400 plus.
I thought that long going into the open was a pretty wild trade, personally. that was I don't know. I think I was relying a little bit too much on a hunch there because like I said, the overnight stop out zone is like all the way up at 33.73. Okay. And like we've opened completely above that. So I don't really have anything from current positioning that tells me that we can continue to push higher. In order for us to continue to push higher, we need to have more money come into the market. Now, this is a situation where I think a lot of money could come into the market because we've got some significant fiscal headlines coming in, and people are going to want to get in on the okay, it's a bull run again. We can all get back in. So there's reasons for new money to come in. But I got $60 off of that. Yeah, I think it was appropriate to take it off when we see the distribution here. Yeah, so the tick is not like a bad thing. It's just the problem that I had with it was that it wasn't giving me turns that I couldn't find through other means, and it wasn't a high probability thing. It looks like it is. It looks like, oh, when you get that big down tick, you can go long there and have a pretty good expectancy on it. But remember, we tested that, and that wasn't the case. I might be getting, I don't know here. I might be getting some data here that we might be able to look at that stuff a little bit more. So. Okay. So that was kind of exactly the sort of thing that I was looking and thinking about. There is some stuff down at like 79 on the edge of that profile there.
Live Action says not to get in trouble. There are a couple of famous huge traders that use the tick.
I'm sure there are. I just didn't think that it was justified staying on CQG data. That was the thing. Now I might be able to get kinetic data here to test with, and then maybe we can bring it back. We'll see. Kind of depends on what they charge. I think I'd rather spend the money on Rhythmic API Plus. That Treasury is getting down there again. The 5-year new low, 10-year equal to the low, 30-year not quite there yet, but looking like it's moving fast. Dollar turning a little
Sunday
bit.
Driver says I trade by wetting my finger and putting it in the air and go for it.
And go for it. Well, listen,
Live
if
Action
you
says I
wanna,
have noticed different platforms giving different tick readings, one of which didn't work for me. Can't mention so I don't get sued.
That's interesting. Well, listen, if you want, if you want us to do YOLO trades, and you're gonna fund those YOLO trades, then I'm totally down. But otherwise, I don't think that we should waste our hard-earned money, huh? Because we got stuff to do, guys. We got stuff to do. This cost inventory basis thing, pretty awesome. But we need that market by order data. Okay. So this is turning into a pretty crazy outside bar for whatever reason. Might be the start of another run. Let's see.
Live Action says, did you say yo-yo trades? That was funny with some truth.
I didn't say yo-yo. Okay. So Sumo's going good. REEMF is going good. Sorry, Rare Earth Resources is going good. VIX is a little floppy in the overnight, but up and around 25.85. Tesla looks like they're selling here off of their open. We did get a good
Vlad
run
Stolarov
higher
says, new
there,
month, new money.
but it was kind of a slippery move. It
Vlad
does not
Stolarov
look
says,
like
watch
they're done.
NQ60s.
So it looks like we're getting a new round of price discovery is coming in. They tried testing lower. That somebody fought against that, and we went much higher, but that came back, and we're back in the range now. So if they're able to push even lower, we might want to take this. Apparently, Facebook is being subpoenaed by Congress. No, Senate panel votes to subpoena Facebook, Google, and Twitter. Their CEOs. I don't know if that really matters. That looks like they're exaggerating how big of a deal that is. Trump has been outspent 5-1 in Pennsylvania over the last month. It doesn't seem out of the question that it could move the needle a bit in the pulse.
Block sell.
Okay, we got about 30 seconds or so here to the PMIs.
Drajos Your Dash says, hi, how are you? Can you show me how you have the configuration to align all the Jigsaw graphics through one? You have an ATM strategy in Jigsaw. Thank you.
What do you mean? Do you mean like when I click it and they all reset it into the to be in the middle? Is that what you mean, the Dragos? Coming back to the open, apparently. Okay. Interesting. Did not everybody get that piece of news? I'm not going to say anything yet. 53.2 is the manufacturing PMI versus a previous reading of 53.1. Now, I don't think the market was reacting to that. Okay. Political reports Pelosi sounds very skeptical of
Drajos Your Dash says I've seen that you
stimulus
give
deal.
MES and everything lines up.
Okay, so there's this button up here at the top to center things. I'm gonna put that right. I'm gonna put that out. To center things. If I just click on this one, if I left click on this one, it will just reset that one, right? But if I right click on that button, it'll reset all of them. Which is so incredibly useful because I can say, okay, here's a point at which I
Live
feel like I
Action
understand
says don't
where
tell me
everything
we're
is.
pulling all the way back. I was hoping to break overnight highs.
It's like I like to do it in a calm area. It's like, okay, they reached an area, there's some balance here. Let's reset everything and see where they go from here.
Vlad Stolyarov says NQ gap too much. Drajos Your Dash says thanks.
Cool. That is what you were talking about. That's what I'm here for. That is what I'm here for. Well, yeah, okay, now Trading Floor Audio is retweeting it. Politico reporting U.S. Dem Speaker Pelosi sounding very skeptical about the possibility of a U.S. stimulus deal. Well.
Sunday Driver says would now be a good time to set up the Biden trade.
Oh, do you want to go long for the Biden trade or you want to go short for the Biden trade? I don't know. Probably not. I think that this stimulus deal matters more than anything else at the moment. I think that there's been a lot of question about like how the debate affect the market and what else is going on, and there's a lot of economic numbers coming out too. But I think that the most important thing right now is a stimulus, and if we don't get a stimulus, that could be very bad for the markets.
Live Action says she thinks spreading out the stimulus is reducing it.
Especially since we got a pretty bad cumulative delta imbalance going in here, and if they are able to push below 33.72,
Sunday Driver says long on private security, gold, and firearms companies.
Gold. Well, so being long on private security and firearms, that's a great idea. That's a great idea because the thing with that one is that you don't even necessarily have to be right to make money off of those ones, right? Gold is way more speculative. It's gold has been pretty hard to predict on a short-term basis lately, hasn't it? Well, we did get some selling. So maybe that sold as it came into the markets unevenly. I don't know if 86 down to 76 is enough of a move off of that or not, but there's still some bulls apparently trying to push it. Well, back to the open at least. My wife is fed up with that baby right now. He was up all night. All of the squawks picking up on the report that Pelosi sounded very skeptical of a stimulus.
Vlad Stolyarov says if this was early low NAD they rally like crazy now also a scenario.
I'm just looking at this and I'm seeing 6,000 contracts to puke if they break 3372. And this um retrace back to the open, it just puts us in neutral territory. So I can't read that push back to the open as a significant, like I could when it was coming down. And
Sunday
again,
Driver
since
says
the
when Biden
imbalance,
wins, and it's obvious that he will be a puppet for the Marxist left, it will all fall apart. USA will go the way of Argentina. Gold, baby, gold.
crazy stuff could. There's definitely some crazy possibilities coming out there, but like, this is one of these things you got to remember is that sometimes things
Live
happen because
Action
they
says
have
that
to.
Sunday Driver can't find ammo. One gun store in my neighborhood had only 2 guns left in his store, and I have 6 stores in 10-mile radius. Going long stock's not bad idea.
Yeah. You know, especially the whole filibuster thing. I don't know. They clearly want to do it. Otherwise, Joe Biden wouldn't be afraid to answer that question. But you have to think that there's people in Congress thinking about it and saying, yeah, but if we do that, would be so bad. We can't do that. And would there be enough? Would there be 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 or however many it would take? Could. Seems incredibly uncertain at the moment. Yeah. Schumer would do it. I can tell you that. I mean, he did it for judicial nominees. That was all his fault.
Live Action says correction 9 stores.
EU official denies Financial Times tweets on Brexit trade talks breakthrough. It's UK spin unfounded. We're not seeing any sign yet that landing zones are in sight, whether on the level playing field or fish. So that's another bad one. Breaking 72. So now I think you're gonna see some puking here. There was definitely a few that puked just off of that move, but they're not all going. They're gonna get squeezed hard here, man. Look at that.
Sunday Driver says buy accessories that will be banned in a Biden administration. High-capacity magazines, polymer 80 kits, all will fetch high prices when Biden bans.
No, but I don't think that they'll ban weapons. Even like the assault weapon ban sort of a thing, I'm a little skeptical about. To be honest with you, I think that they would just more likely put in like tougher restrictions, like they'd make it harder to get a gun and stuff like that. So it totally justifies everybody wanting to get out and get guns right now, but I don't think that it's going to be like
Live
Australia.
Action says you mean Harris doing her executive order banning.
And if Harris did an executive order banning, the Supreme Court would knock it down just like that.
Uzi Knesset says also buy products with black mascots lol.
No, because they're getting rid of all of the black mascots. That's not good for your company, is it? I don't know if it actually matters to anybody's bottom line. Fix is increasing a lot.
Uzi Knesset says yeah, and they'll be collector's items lol.
Oh, there you go. Oh, poor Snow taking a hit.
Sunday Driver says I hear they're going after cream of wheat black guy now.
Okay, so
Uzi Knesset says yeah, already
seeing
done. I called that months ago.
I'm seeing some significant profit taking here in the 70 area.
Uzi Knesset says white supremacists don't like black mascots, I guess lol.
If there might be a little bit of supply here from the profit taking, and then you could get another flash. Let's see. I think everything news wise is in favor of it going down, and the imbalance seems to be in favor of it going down too. They're a little tepid. I think that they're just reading some technical signals, so we just got to be patient. You can probably get some whippy moves both ways here as people try and chase the momentum in the turns. What the heck is News Squawk posting bell? 318008. If you know, you know. I don't know. I'm not in the know, apparently. Heather Cagle retweeting Jake Sherman. Pelosi sounded very skeptical about a deal with Steve Mnuchin just now on a Dem whip call. Said Republicans and Democrats don't share the same values. She cited the child income tax credit. Dems have gone down significantly and Republicans are at zero, she said.
Sunday Driver says I am surprised that night vision rifle scopes are still available at normal prices.
Okay. Well, some Tesla's addition to the S&P 500 could take a while, says the former head of the committee that picks stocks for the index. Okay, so somebody that doesn't really matter, but saying something I think very important for Tesla. And even though he doesn't make the decisions, I think his opinion is worth heeding. That could hurt Tesla. That could hurt Tesla in a big way. Let's come and pull them up here. Let's pull them up on a 1 minute chart because I think that might cause a little bit of trouble over there. And that will help our short over here because it'll push the NASDAQ down.
Sunday Driver says I still think Tesla will be a $5 stock again.
$5 stock. Man, Sunday. We can only keep track of one crazy prediction at a time. Okay, let's focus on there won't be a second debate. Then when that one fails, then we can talk about Tesla being a $5 stock. Oh man, that would be so well. I mean, it's actually not that.
Live Action says yes, but are you brave enough to short here?
And Tesla, hell no, yeah. That's the real problem with Tesla is that nobody actually wants to go short anymore. Ouch. ISM PMI 55 spot 4, lower than the expectation.
Vlad Stolyarov says, but not TSLA.
And construction spending was good. ISM manufacturing employment still under 50 at 49.6. They did not like that number. Okay, so I don't think that
Vlad
number
Stolyarov
was
says, I
crazy.
don't like what NQ doing.
I don't think that number is crazy, but like I said, there was some longs
Vlad
in there.
Stolyarov says it need to go down.
Let's come back over here. They probably still got just a little bit more. Let's see what they can get. Ooh, actually, 53 is an area below us. If they really get going, we should also try and take a look at some of our longer term targets here, huh? Keep an eye on here. There was some liquidity there that they just busted through. And it's actually these, you see these down here at the bottom getting a little brighter. I mean, there's that guy all the way up at 71, but he's stuck. He's stuck. 49 is downside target. Possible. Seeing a bit of profit taking there again in the 65 area. Actually, maybe not even profit taking. Maybe somebody trying to create something, turn it around.
Vlad Stolyarov says they can bounce S from 65. Don't be greedy on short.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to skid like that off of the news, and that could have been a good profit-taking opportunity that I missed. Wouldn't say I'm greedy. Like, all of my targets are lower than here. At the same time, it's been really hard lately to get more than 50 on anything, so.
Vlad Stolyarov says it's technical bounce right now. Vlad Stolyarov says Momo is kinda down. Uzi Knesset says ZB right to that break even.
Yeah. Well, ZB took the upside one, huh? ZN is still mixed, and as is ZF. Kind of hard for me to know what the treasury.
Vlad Stolyarov says NQ being a boss.
NQ is refusing to go. Oh, okay. Twitter is Twitter down. Is Twitter down? TWTR. They opened higher. Oh, is Twitter down? Is Twitter itself down? No, I'm getting stuff. Oh no, actually I haven't gotten anything for a bit. Let's try refreshing. Oh no, what are people gonna do without their news feeds on Twitter? Oh no! Oh. Oh dear. This
Uzi Knesset says I scalped that, by the way. Shorted 27 at 25.
Oh really?
Vlad Stolyarov says if AAPL go over 117.15 aboard all shorts.
I don't think that the market's going to react well to Twitter being down. Like, these guys are rudderless. Like the retail traders, We still got our squawk.
Uzi Knesset says yeah, just a little guy, no bigs.
See, I don't know. I'll have like ideas and then I'm more interested in other stuff and I'll forget about it. But I've really been thinking, you should be able to catch small winners in ZB, and I always had a really hard time with it. And maybe this provides you some spots where you can just catch a few ticks, and it seems like you're catching them pretty commonly. So, yeah, my news squawk just confirming that the Twitter feeds aren't loading. Yep.
Uzi Knesset says I scalped it because that big order at the break even been there for a couple hours, so 2 reference convergence, worth a scalp.
Sure.
Uzi Knesset says the RR was 1-to-1, which ain't no good, but that's why I took it quick. Vlad Stolyarov says check out oil dump.
Well, less than 4 ticks in ZB is kind of a little...
Live Action says I've read multiple reports Treasury's not expected to move for next 2 years.
I don't know, man. They've
Vlad
been
Stolyarov
moving.
says minus 4.7%.
I think the risk in treasuries is that something happens pushing the rates up and upsets the market big time.
Uzi Knesset says my standard is 2 for 8, but that's like extreme confidence.
I guess the question is like we should well you got the jigsaw. Maybe you could go through, put all of your trades into a book and look at all the ones where you only took 2 and then see what your win rate on them is. And if you're above 50%, then heck, you really want to be above 70, but even if it was above 50%, kind of has to make us think that, okay, there's definitely something to it, that the area itself is scalpable too. So I've been trying to swing it. And they can provide okay spots to swing at, but you still have to really know where it's going to go. But if we could find it just as a technical spot where it's easy to catch 2 ticks, then that's a horse of a different color. Well, that's a horse of a different color.
Uzi Knesset says only time I was ever above 70 was when I was doing 1 tickers, and that's not sustainable.
I don't know. If you're getting 70 with 1 tickers, I don't know. That's our Gary
Vlad
Norton
Stolyarov says oil trying to hammer.
Oil is just getting obliterated, man. They are looking like they want vengeance from yesterday. Yesterday was 38.80. Oh, they're well below that. 38.60. Oh, they're well below that too. So oil is breaking out lower here. Yes. It is.
Vlad Stolyarov says I am sure 38 is the dip buyer first stop.
There's still this area of the profile around 37 that below them. So even the drop out here is
Uzi
great as it
Knesset
is
says
for
yeah,
day
remember
trade.
it was like last year. I don't remember the specific time frame, but I believe it was 73%. It became a real kick in the head when things get volatile.
I gotcha. That's the way that it works, though, right? Is you just have to know when it's too volatile to take those. Yeah, Twitter's still not loading.
Uzi Knesset says yes, sir.
I think that the problem that I have with the way that I trade is the calibration. Like, you'll get used to having really good winners that run, and then it'll stop doing that, essentially, right? So, like, I think that what we should do is if our average loser is 20, then we should at least take that, for instance. Because I've had so many times where it came back so quickly. We don't want to let that happen, even though I really do want to let it run. So I try and get the fixed target. I think that this is a situation where we should be able to get that fixed target very easily. The
Sunday
imbalance
Driver
on the
says
open,
Twitter is down.
imbalance on the open was good. All of the fundamental like news catalysts
Uzi
that
Knesset
matter
says
right
I
now
have a
are
tendency
bad.
to bitch out when volume comes into a winning trade. Isn't always has been my biggest weakness in cutting winners short.
Oh, right. Like you mean like it's coming up and then you see some absorption up there at the top, big iceberg or something. You say, okay, I'm getting out here. Well, that's what I do.
Vlad
It is a
Stolarov says NQ
frustrating.
testing its 11,500 now under.
It is a frustrating way to take profits sometimes because they'll take that and then they'll go up like 2 or 3 times as much. And you're like, damn it. But when I've started using like the VIX targets and things like that, and this thing, that has really helped those. I don't have that happen nearly as much, except for those Mondays.
Uzi Knesset says yeah, it's frustrating because sometimes those levels get chomped and I'm just like, disappointed.
Yeah, but that's where it's like it's a really hard thing to I think get across, convey to people. You don't want to take a trade because somebody else took a trade. You don't want to take profits because somebody else took profits. But it's not like it doesn't matter either, you know? We want to be able to use our, ooh, look at that. Big old order showing up at 56.
Uzi Knesset says yeah.
Okay, they took him. Oh, that's funny. They filled him, and as soon as they filled him, there was a bunch of selling off of it. Very interesting. Seems a little slow here now.
Uzi Knesset says I'm trying to pinpoint a time when the buyers and sellers balance out on the cost basis. Seems like a pretty consistent event in the late afternoons. In ZB, I mean.
Okay. I've been meaning to write a robot that tries to do stuff at these areas, but you can't really. For whatever reason, in the latest version of Ninja Trader, whenever I try and backtest something that requires tick replay, it just takes forever. And I ran the one that I had done before that was really successful. God damn it. See me move my stop up there, and like my
Uzi
robot's
Knesset
been
says
doing
yeah
good
tick
today,
replay turns your pooter into peanut butter lol.
right? But it's like doing it in the backtester is
Rob
just like
Farley
even a
says
week.
morning all. Second day caller. Just listening while I get
Rob,
Ninja set
welcome
up on new
back.
system.
Welcome back, Rob. I'm so mad about that. I was like 2 ticks off there. Could have taken it at $30. Fuck. Ugh, it's okay. We still played that. The place where I was having trouble and everything, we're good. We're good. Good. Now my robots are doing good. I don't get what's going on here. Oh, he's not doing that great. I take it back. He still sucks. He still sucks. So what? He's taken 4 trades? Yeah, that's not enough to be a big deal. Let's say he's doing better today than he has been. I think that there's another. So I have it as he's looking for like these extreme moves in the book. Look, they stop me out and they come back down. Of course, it's fine. I stuck the plan. Maybe the plan should be different in that situation. In that situation, what do you think? Should I let it come back more in the hopes that it come back down? Because that would have filled me that time. Okay, let's check Twitter, see if it TweetDeck works now.
Vlad Stolyarov says 11,500. Vlad Stolyarov says I think NQ getting some dip buying here.
Man, Twitter's down. Where can we go and get some updates on Twitter? Hey, let's go to Twitter. Oh, wait. I need a new USB switcher. Okay. So that right there was I'm out now for sure. Okay, Twitter's back. Twitter's back. Twitter stock not affected at all today. Tesla now looking super great. They want 420. I think they want 420 again. That VIX good too. Up pretty good. Not as quite as high as yesterday. Some of these other ones going okay. What the heck is this from Bloomberg? Britain's access to a full spectrum of chemicals after Brexit could be at risk unless safety data and regulations remain aligned with the EU, an executive at the world's largest chemical maker says. From Trading Floor Radio, Europe can have stimulus or rule of law, but not have both, says BBG. For the sake of its pandemic fund, the EU will probably opt for placating Hungary and Poland, but a slide in democratic norms could be its undoing. And where is this one from? With unemployment still high, inflation below target, and funds rate locked on hold in the near term under the Fed's new framework, it is not surprising that FRB/US translates these expansionary policies into the large increases in the output gap defined as actual minus potential GDP. The proposed Biden policies generate a peak increase in the output gap of 3.7 pp in 2023 that declines only slightly by the end of 2025. Our expected Biden policies generate a peak increase in the output gap of 2.7 in 2022. So here's my opinion on this. This seems to be the big disagreement amongst the Wall Street analysts about what is going to happen if Joe Biden is president. Will their stimulus be good for the economy and so forth? The problem with the stimulus that Joe Biden is proposing is that these are like government grants to specific companies. It's the kind of stimulus that the Republicans do is like, let's just give it a gift to the market, which of course makes the S&P 500 go up. But when you're, doing these really targeted subsidies, what happens is it's just grift, right? Like the Solyndra thing. It goes into this company that doesn't do anything with it. It wastes it. It these vampires basically take advantage of it and blow it all. And so I don't think that stimulus that they're looking at, one, it's like really far out. That's like 2022, 2023 type stuff. And two, they're not going to get as much out of it as they think they're going to. At least over here in the S&P 500, you can, hopefully it eventually gets into some investment where it can make some productivity increases. And, we'll see if it does that in like 10 years from now, what we're doing. But I think that fact that Joe Biden wants to increase the taxes matters so much more.
Vlad Stolyarov says watch for resistance or squeeze now S.
Especially to the S&P 500 overall, because not everybody's going to be a recipient of that stuff. So I really think that some of these analysts are just trying to, make an excuse. They want to have it both ways. The economy will go up if Donald Trump wins. The economy will go up if Joe Biden wins, because they can't dare say a Democrat president getting elected would be really bad for the economy. They just can't get themselves to say it. It's too much cognitive dissonance for them. That's what I think is happening over there. In some chances for a munition Pelosi COVID deal is looking quite
Vlad
grim.
Stolyarov says 73 to 85 S zone on daily probably resistance. Vlad Stolyarov says I like oil now 38 I like it. Vlad Stolyarov says it helps people realize reality. Vlad Stolyarov says I will be looking for reversals later for oil most likely 11 a.m.
So we're in a spot where they could definitely move lower if they wanted to. But these bulls, they've got another reason to be buying. And they do seem to be trying to buy the dip today. So, if it comes down here, you could see some ugly.
Vlad Stolyarov says it's a fresh start of month they want it green.
Well, I can see Igor in chat has been going along here. So he seems to have some sort of technical statistical reason why these days tend to be green. I I personally don't think that shit matters. Not in the face of news, right?
Vlad Stolyarov says I also wouldn't be surprised if this hole dumps 3,270 eventually.
Wow, that would be huge. I don't know about that one. 3222 is the bigger down one I see.
Vlad Stolyarov says this was a stop out.
Yeah, that move right there was not. You can see up there in the 60s, like nothing traded there. They let it drop. So they bought it up, took some profits up here, let it drop, see what they do. But they didn't break a new low, not yet. Not yet. Treasuries. Look at them go. I don't know, Uzi. I mean, I'm happy for you that you caught that 2 ticks earlier, but I think you got lucky there, man. Anytime I see that where it's like, okay, I got the winner, but the longer term I wasn't really correct in direction wise. You always kind of have to wonder how how close that one might have been. I'm still getting news squawks talking about Pelosi. Old news. It's like, we need another push lower. Somebody tweet about it again.
Vlad Stolyarov says tick wasn't even extreme.
On the down? Okay, well, that didn't surprise me really. Like I said, like right here where we're trading now they're filling it in. That whole area from 60 to 62, they just let it fall through that. They let it fall through on that one. Which also kind of suggests that it's actually a long, right? But if the larger picture is short and longs are in denial here, then what's going to happen is they're going
Vlad
to move it
Stolyarov
back
says
up.
this oil bleeding need to stop next 30 minutes.
They'll move it back up to like 3370 area, and then you go short again. Mohammed El Rain is now president of Queens College. That's interesting. Copper and oil not buying the deal, asks the marketeer. I would agree, kind of. except for that, any kind of movement that we've had overnight has to be suspect because of Japan being down, right? So, just like when we were up at the highs and it couldn't hold it. Good, Brannigan Barrett. I don't know, man. I need to keep track of these. He says, I will tell you when to buy oil. At this point, there are no levels. There are only levels of commitment. And he's talking about these access points, which who gives a shit? He is like, he talks way too confidently. I kind of wonder. Somebody like that shouldn't, with that much experience, I just usually don't talk that way, you know? Okay, so let's slightly pivot higher. They're definitely going to read that one as a buy from a technical standpoint.
Vlad Stolyarov says it's gambling here. Vlad Stolyarov says that's why you can't short this market, lol.
Remember, the first trade is usually the best one. I need to let them fight it out. Stop fighting. Like if they come back up to 33.70, it goes quiet. Then I sell it. Because at this point, we got to start thinking a little bit psychology wise. There's definitely buyers trying to buy this dip. And there's a lot of them too. So they're probably going to get something out of it. But why did we move up yesterday in the first place? Probably because of the stimulus still. That's not happening. Brexit's not happening. Those are two bad things. But then there's the presidential election thing, right? So there are probably some people thinking, well, the debate still matters and we should buy it because Biden's going to get elected in that stimulus, or I don't know how they're squaring that away in their head, but you get what I mean? So there's still like a bull case, and they got to get something where they're going to give up on it first. So there, I think the shorts all took their profits down in there. It's ripe for a pullback for sure. It's just like the pullbacks are messy. You don't want to. I don't know if you really want to mess with those. So it's way better to let it come up and let it die, have the bulls give up, and then sell it. Or heck, you could just sit down there with a stop order at the bottom. That might be a better way of doing it. Is somewhere in the 33.60 area, saying if it gets down there again, I'll sell it. Because if they touch that low again, they're going through and they're going much lower. Well, Twitter's pretty quiet at the moment. News Squawk's pretty quiet at the moment. Got past all our news, right? There is a Fed speaker later, though. Let's see, where is it? Oh, maybe not. Oh, I have it over here, don't I? Oh, ECB Lane. That might not be. I've been a little frustrated lately with the Fed speakers because like they saying a lot of stuff and the market certainly cares about it, but they haven't actually been saying anything like that really moves things. So it's like it just kind of becomes noise, you know what I mean? Noise that you really can't ignore. Let's check some of the stocks here. Yeah. Tesla also kind of making a higher high there. Twitter moving higher. Well, whatever. Oh man, Iger took a lot of entries up in that. You know, something that we didn't really point out, but probably should have, was that. Oh, you know what? Did I only change? Hold on. I need to fix this a little bit more still, huh? Because I only did this one. Oops. 5. 6. 7.
Vlad Stolyarov says if you long scale out here.
I like that a bit better.
Vlad Stolyarov says back to VWAP.
So now when you look at it, you can see that a little bit more clearly that there's a lot of liquidity down in the 50 area. There was a big order that's kind of flashing around here at 33.60. I don't know why my DOM
Clark Sense
refuses to
says
show more
VRAP.
levels, but
Vlad Stolyarov says V-Trap. Vlad Stolyarov says if they push S to 77, what'll be funnier?
see, when I look at this one, it gives me tons. I guess I'm only allowed to see 64 levels. But if that's the case, how come I can see some down in here? Well, anyways. So they're in the area where I was saying maybe they could turn. Actually ended up being the seller cost basis is a little bit lower than I thought. So I don't know about this one. Open, I can see some sellers look like they're taking some profits.
Weltonseg LA says at Speculator Seth day trading, what data do you use? Rhythmic.
Yeah, I'm using Rhythmic right now.
Live Action says S stuck on glue here.
Yeah, well, it looks like the longs. I mean, look at all of the dot.
Vlad Stolyarov says I am using intuition.
Eh,
Vlad
taking
Stolyarov says if
profits.
it traps people it goes up. Weltonseg LA says that glue is the open 5 minutes range.
There's really all the way up to 78 is not out of the question. And then I guess it could turn bullish, and they have plenty of room to go on the long side too. But I don't know. I think that larger term, I still think that on an intraday basis, so that the news matters more. And so if you get a bunch of buyers buying the dip there, are they going to be able to hold it? Because look at the cumulative delta down there in the bottom middle, right? And that's like a short covering rally. He was saying that they will negotiate with Britain until the bitter end. President says solely on Brexit, Britain has to respect previous deals or we won't make any progress. JP Morgan wants to help turn airline and hotel loyalty points into an asset class like stocks or corn futures. Okay. I'm down. Let's do it. I'll trade. I'll trade airline loyalty points. Which you're gonna trade water, why not hotel loyalty points? Mm. It is kind of turning. They're kind of rolling over there. I don't know, guys. I kind of feel like it did pretty good today and that I should just kind of be happy. I kind of want the $30 back, though. $30 from me, I want back. Oh, we were talking about this earlier. Ed Morrissey saying that two leading indicators in the last 2 days suggest some upside coming on the non-farms payrolls. based on the ADP and the weekly jobless claims. Both positive. It sure got boring there, didn't it? Isn't it weird how you can have a market that is just like all over the place and then all of a sudden is just like 4-tick range for 10 minutes and we're like, what the heck? Just bored out of our minds. My wife was showing me pictures from Facebook showing that people were posting a lot of debate memes.
Live Action says bet Weiger with some funny ones. Live Action says memes.
I bet there were funny ones. They were mostly about the moderator. They're mostly about Chris. Should have taken that short, shouldn't I? What were we at? 74?
PRT1 says GM.
4, 5, 10, 15, 20.
Welton Seg LA says that was a nice 8-point ride
30.
down.
30. So yeah, could have made it back. I just want that one. It's just is like, hey, this could say 100 instead of 70. But no, you guys all had to try and take your profits before I did. Screw you guys. It's funny because I'm watching it and I'm like, so I got it. And then I see the move. I'm thinking about getting out. And then all you guys in chat are like, oh, I took profits here. God damn it, guys. Stop doing that.
Live Action says short yes up near VWAP when price hit wall.
Listen, if we're gonna do it that way, we're gonna have to be a little bit more tricky about them, right? Like we're gonna have to let them push into us. Otherwise, we're all just always gonna be chasing each other out. Well, let's look at that short.
Welton Seg LA says in before Seth is putting a 5 minutes delay on stream grin.
Right? Or I'll have to
Vlad
like make
says,
it.
are we shorting again, lol?
I have to make it like members only get it live, or
Vlad Stolarov says oil went up a bit.
If we ever got popular enough, we would have to do that. I don't think that will ever. Hopefully, there's not that many people willing to trade futures out there. I think I honestly do think that some of what we've been doing could be triggering robots, though. You guys are seeing something in the order flow.
Welton Seg LA says futures pump and dumb chat room. Haha.
Yeah. Well, I'll just have to go back to trading treasuries. That's the problem. The E-mini is just too thin right now.
Live Action says we all should post L long and S short like they do in hedge funds.
Just go try front running me when there's 4,000 contracts on offer, huh? Huh? I think I'm just slow to get out. Is really what I think. I like to stay in things, and you guys, you kind of will see something that's like you're down there in that spot, and it doesn't immediately take the next price. You're like, okay.
Vlad Stolyarov says I spoof and pull orders all the time. I hope they notice my 1MNQ.
Well, I've thought about that a few times where it's like it's going up to my target and it's going pretty good, and I'm like, well, if they're going to trade that fast, I think I should raise my target. And then I'm like, but what if I get, is that spoofing? Like, I mean, my order's been there for a while. It sounds dumb, but I really think that there's a benefit to thinking this way. Because if you think that the market's always out to get you, then you're going to be much more selective, aren't you? You're not going to take a trade unless you think you have a really good probability, right? You ain't just going to YOLO it on something that somebody watching your stream could cancel it out on. I do that way too often, though. Yeah, that makes sense. I think I should make... just looking at my colors here. Is that fair? I get those last two will just be a little bit brighter. I don't know. It's getting kind of chippy in this area. It's doing that little twisty turny thing. So like something that I look at, this is like technical analysis bullshit, but when it starts to get turny, so like this stuff down here at the bottom is a really good example, right? It's twisting around a lot all of a sudden. That's a good spot if you are an institution looking to fill liquidity and you don't want the market to really know what you're doing. That's a good spot. It's a good spot to be taking your trades, right? So you're kind of getting a little bit of this. Yeah. Right. It's the twisty. So you could people are accumulating. What you're likely to see is at some point, maybe something like this. Outside bar, inside bar, breakdown, something like that. Technical analysis bullshit. Don't read too much into it. But They might be. Well, okay. Or you could just sell it. You could just sell it. Man. Oh, right into my stop. No.
Live Action
that's
says,
not
Seth,
supposed
if
to
doing
happen.
that, try the 1 minute with the 133 tick chart to see volume coming in a more fractal way. Vlad Stolyarov says, oh.
Yeah,
Vlad
you don't
Stolyarov
want to.
says, NQ scared of me.
You have a stop limit to get in on a stop run, and you get it, and it goes one
Vlad
tick in your
Stolyarov says
favor?
it read the chat.
He's watching. They're messing with my head now.
Live Action says volume study using only a bar chart. Weltonseg LA says I'm still short since 74.25, so don't give anybody long ideas.
Oh, really? Hey, you did. No, you did not. You did not get 74.25.
Vlad Stolyarov says 3 minutes till 11 a.m.
Unless you took it like close to the open. I mean, it's not like it's a. No. Actually.
Weltonseg LA says yes, promise.
I don't believe you. That was the
Weltonseg
absolute
LA
high.
says no, I took it when we talked about the glue.
Oh, okay.
Vlad Stolyarov says nice.
So you've been holding it for a while. You held it through that whole pullback, and it almost came back to your entry then, right? So otherwise, that sounds like a sim fill that's not realistic because only 41 contracts traded up there. Well, we can't say that it's unrealistic, but it's a little sketch.
Live Action says at Weltonseg LA I went short there too but closed. Weltonseg LA says it's only a 1-lot MES, but yes, I took it at the tippy top of that pullback.
Well, I can't see the MES ones, so maybe it's possible. So my DOM has reset all of that, so I can't see how much actually traded there last time. I'd have to pull up like a footprint chart or something. Well, then I'm just going to call you damn lucky.
Weltonseg LA says I'm looking at the S while trading MES though.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. You know what? This was a horrible play. What a load of shit. All right, well.
Vlad Stolyarov says it doesn't matter what I look at, it goes up without volume eventually. Weltonseg LA says I mean it was a good inflection but probably some luck too.
I can't believe that I picked
Vlad Stolyarov says 11 a.m. time.
Price. It went one tick through my stop entry. How can it be that exact? Come on. That shit's been happening to me way too much lately. Damn it. That whole thing is going to come back and they're going to careen through it now.
Weltonseg LA says there we go.
I don't know. This is weird.
Vlad Stolyarov says I don't like this.
Okay. Pelosi says she's hopeful that a stimulus agreement can be reached. I don't know.
Vlad Stolyarov says hope ISNT answer.
No,
PRT1
I'm
says
not
is
on
a
the ball
manual
here.
stop with an emergency stop. Live Action says missing by a tick is a good sign. Big money and algos see the same and willing to risk tick for guarantee fill.
Think so? I don't know. It's been way too tight today. Given that the degree of the moves that we've had, it shouldn't be that exact. It should be really, really hard to be that close.
Vlad Stolyarov says I see NQ leveling here.
I mean, you're talking about something that's like a 1 in 1,000 chance.
Vlad Stolyarov says and I don't like any of the bounces.
And it keeps happening over and over again to me. And it's just like with Welton, like the chances of you actually getting that high and it being the high, that's like 1 in 1,000, right?
PRT1 says as long as it bails out NY and Cali state debts.
If you're catching it only one tick adverse excursion at a pivot frequently in the ES, you're doing something crazy effective. They're just slicing and dicing, guys.
Vlad Stolyarov says could be demo.
I don't know. If I really think that they're messing with me, I could just start doing crazy things, right? Crazy time! 50 lots, buy that shit. Oh. Spoof all of the things.
Live Action says I remember Riley from S&P Pit crying about the algos front running him by a tick.
Fine. Front running him by a tick. Look, I'm stacking. You're supposed to buy it, stupid algorithms. Come on. Obviously, it's a sin. Get out of here. How bad was that one? Oh, it was 1,000. Okay, cool. So we got it.
Vlad Stolyarov says this 60 zone is important to hold for bulls. Vlad Stolyarov says they should be placing big orders.
I'm not actually seeing really big orders come in here, though.
Vlad Stolyarov says on 4 hours.
This looks to me more like algorithms fucking with us.
Weltonseg LA says I lied about one tick obviously, or that footprint would not have a 0 on the bid up there.
Yeah. So the issue is still state and local aid, huh? Hmm. We're technically still in a cell zone. I don't know, man. I don't know. What the heck is going on?
PRT1 says bailout for stupidity and waste.
Could be. I'm just trying to have fun. I don't know.
PRT1 says not talking about COVID.
No, stop that. Stop that. Spoofing lower. Get out of here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now they go down, huh?
Alex Dawoodian says any further discussions about the stimulus?
So Pelosi is talking to the press right now.
Vlad Stolyarov says oil new low. Live Action says today's strategy skimming the yo-yo trade.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's being awfully like I'm really off sync with it, right? I'm kind of just throwing them out here. I don't know if I really have like a good reason to take it in that particular spot or anything.
Vlad Stolyarov says gold 1913 now. Live Action says Seth use your profile.
See, I get out and then it goes. Get in. Turns around. That time it actually did
Welton Seg LA says I'm so frustrated with NinjaTrader. I almost certain I'll switch to Sierra charts.
What has it been doing to you? They're not so different. You have to get to know them is all. Got to know where Ninja's gonna try and be temperamental on you. You know. Let's move this over here. It's embarrassing. They don't go over that low this time.
PRT1 says it's probably the PC. Vlad Stolyarov says NQ weak. Welton Seg LA says it not loading stuff in performance is bad. Price makers don't move in sync and it doesn't support order flow features like pullback delta etc. PRT1 says you need a lot of RAM.
What kind of a machine are you running? So those are all things that I've never heard from people before.
Live Action says see much better now. Vlad Stolyarov says this is critical to bounce for bulls.
Oh yeah, it does. If they break that low, they are finished. I don't know. I don't really feel like bulls have a leg to stand on here, but they're gonna try.
Welton
They're
Seg
gonna try
LA
anyways.
says I can still play most games in 4K and have 32 gig RAM, so it shouldn't be the PC.
Okay, so 32 gigs RAM should be good.
PRT1 says my Ninja probs are all PC.
How much memory is it using? And also, I've never heard of pullback delta. The only place I've seen anything like that is in the new Jigsaw swing thing.
Vlad Stolyarov says get better PC Ninja is smooth. Live Action says I am VPOC here, you started your volume later.
I mean, he says that he's playing games in 4K, so I don't know, man. I reset my volume when the open happens because
Vlad Stolyarov says lol.
seeing the regular session high and low matters to me more.
Welton Seg LA says it's using only 10 gig together with Windows. Maybe I can still tweak some.
If you're using 10 gigabytes in NinjaTrader, there's something wrong.
My PC is almost 7 years old and I run NT8 with order flow tools alongside Jigsaw pretty fine.
So I'm using in NinjaTrader right now 700 megabytes, and I have a lot of charts open, and I have a lot of order flow stuff open. So if you have 10 gigs, you're either reading that number wrong, or you've got a memory leak, some indicator that's screwing everything else up. I guess House is still going to vote on their updated bill.
Live Action says then use composite volume on chart and use both. PRT1 says new PC has 32 RAM 1 TB SSD main drive and 4 TB hard drive. Welton Seg LA says well your stream may take some haha.
The streaming takes up a little bit of usage. Don't get what they're doing.
PRT1 says Seth, are you running volume profiles?
I have like a bunch, well, not on all my individual charts, but I do have like my daily volume profile charts over here. I think these.
Uzi Knesset says the whole screen is filled with volume profiles lol.
Right. I'm just reading this thing about Nate Silver saying that Donald Trump only has a 20% chance of election, and that's not zero.
PRT1 says I am on my phone, can't see screen well.
And it just kind of makes me feel disheartened because I'm really
Welton
concerned
Seg
about
LA
what
says you are
Democrats gonna
right. Looking into the resource monitor, NT barely takes 2 gig.
do. 2 gig is still a lot. So I am going to bet that you have a custom indicator on your chart that's screwing things up. Look at the treasuries. man.
PRT1 says Dahmer profile but any NT charts with profiles.
The treasuries are just out of control, and the E-mini's not. It's just fighting and doesn't really want to go anywhere.
Octavius C says can you show the cost basis chart for the 10-year? I want to see how the squeeze is playing out.
And bottom. Ignore my terrible martingaling. Yeah, you can see how they're up at the top now. So this is kind of the stop out area where they might pause.
Block sell.
Block sell. I was just realizing that I had completely lost track of what time it is. It's 9:18. It really does feel like it's fighting me today, doesn't it, guys? I mean, I did really good, and then I started screwing around. So it's still profitable if you take out all of these, ridiculous 100 lots. Yeah, of course not. They may yet go for those lows. We shall see.
Vlad Stolyarov says bad idea to short 60s on S before it breaks completely.
Well, yeah, I mean, when I put that in there, I wasn't really babysitting it as much as I should have. I was thinking, you're going to get a slippery move come down there, and then they're going to push for the low. And it was like one tick. I really should have gotten out of that sooner. But you guys know how I am. It's like I just sit and watch it do the thing. That one I need to ingrain into me. Like if I go into a stop, it was away and it came and it only gives me one tick, then that's the wrong spot. Even if it works out. So can you see the 10-year came back a little bit?
Live Action says martingaling is great if you do it properly. I consider it in backup plan. I know measured move characteristics and proper sizing and tick can help with that.
Well, sizing up strategies is great, but martingaling will always result in your demise. Especially since you start overtrading, right? You can see, I keep trying to get something out here, and it's not really actually going
Vlad
either way.
Stolyarov says I know how to blow up martingaling.
Yeah.
Vlad Stolyarov says I tested it.
The funny thing is that I will get them to go my way a little bit, but I'll never get them to go enough. When it gets like this, that's what happens. So I get one that's going, but then it doesn't go as far as it should be going. Or I think it should be
buy.
No block buy there at where? Did not see that one.
Live action says it takes extremes in practice and speed in execution.
Yeah, it's coming back hard with hard volume in the 10-year. What the hell? Well, they're fighting over something. I don't really know what it is.
Vlad Stolyarov says it's the 60s on 4 hours, it's their support. Live action says watch Elite Trader for a feel. Weltonseg LA says how do you know what instrument your block buy alert is, or did I miss a visual cachet?
Oh no, I only have that set up for the 10-year. I only do that on the 10-year. My face. It's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Why? Now, buyers and sellers. So what I don't understand, it seems like they're digging in here, doesn't it? Cumulative delta is not actually moving. It's chopping around a lot. I really feel like buyers are crazy. I don't know. I'm wrong about something big. If we weren't playing around here, then they would definitely be, would have been time a while ago to stop.
Weltonseg LA says agreed. Vlad Stolyarov says they were crazy 80% of time.
Yeah, well, somebody's buying it, though. Somebody has some reason to buy it. They don't care about what Pelosi's saying. Whoever's buying it's probably a Democrat. Do you see when I come in here and I look at how much I'm getting versus on all of these? 11 against 1-4, 7 against 4-4, 14 against 2-4, 18 against 0-4, 13 and 14 on that one, 6, 14 and 18. So the one just before this was actually pretty good. This one, 12 and 16. So now we're just getting chopped. I had a lot of really awful entries there for whatever reason. Usually when I take them, I don't really actually have a reason to be trading it. But I guess they might be fighting over the London close, huh? I don't know. I feel like I'm missing something. I should come. I wish I had this. Maybe I should have this set up so I can see where I'm taking them and try and figure out why some of those entries end up being so bad when I start getting into it. Because I'll start to do well and then it just be like off.
Live action says Seth, you're not using your profile and got upside down ADGAIN.
I don't know. I don't think that the profile really matters, and I don't give a shit what it says. In some situations, I don't give a shit what it says.
Vlad Stolyarov says spy on VWAP.
Especially since when I put that out there, it certainly did not look like that. See, because what's going to happen is you're going to take one,
and then it'll play out. And then afterwards, you'll look at the profile and it's going to look bad. But of course, because it was a losing trade.
Vlad Stolyarov says TSLA 440.
It is still up.
Vlad Stolyarov says this is a bull day.
Maybe. I mean, we're below the open still, so I don't know how you call it a bull day until it's actually a blue candle on the daily.
Gary Rich says those want to scalp a swing but do not know how to be a scalper and have a scalper's mentality.
Maybe. What I still don't understand is I'll come in and I'll be like, okay, screw it, let's just start taking random trades and seeing what happens with big and try and martingale it. And then it's like you get one tick. And it's supposedly that entry should be random at that point. It's not random. Like, it has nothing to do with his scalper. Like, I'm literally...
Uzi Knesset says yo, that was weird. Someone on the bid in CP just cascaded their bid down like 10 ticks and poof, gone lol.
I'm literally trying to be as random as possible with it. And the stats are terrible. Like, the MFV on it is terrible. How many of those were long? Oh, there was 2 long and there was 3 cells. I don't know, guys. It's kind of weird to me. I don't know. I can't explain it. It's really fucking weird. It maybe is just that in that situation I have a stop that's just not big enough, I think that's probably a reasonable explanation, right? So if we count that 20, 40.
Live action says you try to get in on a tick
75.
but often enough entry level can be nebulous, stop usually behind wall if I get better price in front of wall ADD.
So 75 before I started, okay, let's start screwing around. So it was still a good day, but would have been more fun if one of those 100 lot ones went my way.
Gary Rich says practice your drills and improve your reaction and response times.
But that didn't... I'm not trying to react or respond to anything. I'm just randomly clicking in a spot. I'm really saying, okay, randomly short. Randomly short. And it'll immediately go up. You see this shit? Explain that.
Vlad Stolyarov says slightly smiling face.
Think about it. I will see you guys tomorrow. Stay profitable.
Vlad Stolyarov